In an unexpected turn of events, Sean Strickland may face his sparring partner at UFC 312. Though he isn't the official backup fighter for the main event, Kyo Balo acknowledged that he flew to Australia yesterday, specifically to help his teammate, Sean Strickland, prepare for his title fight. If something were to happen to either Strickland or DDP, he would definitely accept the UFC's offer to step in. Balo made it apparent that he would seize the chance without hesitation, even if it meant going up against Strickland, with whom he had been training. Additionally, Balo praised Strickland, calling him a very good man. He explained that he was in Australia mostly to corner another colleague in addition to helping Strickland. Balo said that although they don't intend to have difficult sparring sessions with Strickland, Sean's pressure-based style always makes them into tough rounds. You see, the sparring invariably gets more difficult than expected due to Strickland's unrelenting style.
He's a very nice guy and a very true guy, very real guy, you know. We linked up before my debut in the UFC, and I went there several times. So we've been training together for so long. Every time that I'm going to Vegas, we do a lot of great rounds, a lot of death match, as he likes to say. And but actually today was a grappling day, and we did some grappling rounds. And of course, I'm here helping him. And tomorrow we're gonna do a sparring session, like a 5-round sparring session. For sure, we're not gonna be doing any crazy thing, you know, anything like, but we're gonna spar, you know. And you know how it works when we train and spar with Strickland. You know, he always likes to come forward and, you know, pick you apart. So I think it'll be fun tomorrow. But right away to all my interviews and all that are gonna be ready, you know, on weight and all this too, if something happens.
A week before the middleweight title bout at UFC 312, Izzy suffered a shocking knockout loss, and Sean Strickland speaks out about Israel Adesanya's KO loss at UFC Saudi Arabia. Strickland was bound to be questioned about his erstwhile opponent's third straight loss. In an interview with Fox Sports Australia, Strickland respected Adna's historic comment without holding back. When all is said and done, Izzy has already left his mark. You've already done all you needed to accomplish, but if you want to keep fighting, then keep fighting. Man, you really don't need to prove anything. You've carved your name into the sport, making it a permanent name. Quotation Nord Dani Imov now clearly epitomizes the idea that there is no shame in Izzy losing to a newer generation of fighters, a sentiment that Strickland, who has suffered his share of UFC defeats, made clear. You're getting older, and that occurs. So don't feel bad about it. Finish the quote. With 3 straight losses and no obvious road forward, the majority of supporters agreed with Strickland's assessment after a video of his comments swiftly went viral on social media. The future of Adna is still. There have been rumors of a possible switch to light heavyweight or perhaps retirement. One thing is for sure. His name is already inscribed in MMA history, regardless of whether he chooses to pursue another title or retire from the sport. Speaking candidly about Khamzat Chimaev, Drius Dupi disclosed that, particularly following his resounding victory over Robert Whittaker, he had initially targeted Khamzat for his next match. Cham was praised by DDP, who said that his performance versus Whittaker was superior to Strickland's victory over Costa, which at first made him think Chin would be the next in line. But as it was clear that Dupi would face Strickland again, all of his attention turned to the former champion. Dupi stressed that his bout with Khamzat is still imminent, and that he is ready to face the unbeaten fighter despite the change in plans. He praised Khamzat's abilities and called him amazing after his second championship defense, but he made it plain that anyone in the top 5 of the division is a dangerous opponent. Additionally, he noted that Khamzat's tight fights with Usman and Burns demonstrated the fierce rivalry among the best UFC fighters. Although Khamzat is still a potential target, Dupi is committed to concentrating on Strickland first, but a confrontation with Chimaev is unavoidable.
I think Khamzat is an incredible fighter, but you know, you're fighting in the top 5 of the UFC. Everybody's incredible fighters, and you know, he has this one thing that works for him, and it's been good. But you know, Khamzat is an absolute animal, absolutely. But I mean, you look at the Gilbert Burns fight, which you could have scored either way. You look at the Kamaru Usman fight, and you go, yeah, he did beat Robert Whittaker. Well, obviously, his teeth broke back. It's unfortunate. He is really good. So, you know, deserving of a title shot 100% after that performance. You know, if you look at the Strickland's last performance versus Paulo Costa, and then you look at Khamzat's last performance versus Robert Whittaker, that's a no-brainer that Khamzat gets the title fight. And I had my own selfish reasons. I was more excited to fight a Khamzat. But I don't mind the Strickland fight either. And let's put that to bed. Khamzat's fight is going to be there right after this.
Even though Ilia Topuria and Alexander Volkanovski aren't competing, They are still in the news because they are in Australia cornering their colleagues during UFC 312's fight week. In an interview with Main Event, El Matador supports his brother Alexandra, while Vul corners his teammates' thick knees. But even outside the octagon, their hostility is growing. When questioned about a possible rematch with Vul, Ilia didn't mince words. He declared with assurance that the result would be the same, except that this time, he would submit Vul rather than knock him out for fun. Fans and Volkanovski both viewed this as blatant disrespect. Later that day, Vul had his own interview with Main Event and retaliated, revealing that the UFC is attempting to schedule a rematch, but the tour is complicating discussions. Instead of defending his featherweight belt, Ilia is more interested in pursuing a match with Islam Makhachev. He advised Ilia to quit wasting time on Makhachev and instead take on him again.
They want me to keep defending the belt in the 145 division. Maybe I will do that, but if they let me go up in 155, I will do that also. Really, very glad. I don't want to do it again because I like Volk and I know what's going to happen if we face each other again.
You think it's the same thing?
Yeah, of course it's the same thing. You know, as I always say, I represent a new generation of mixed martial arts. I bring a different type of game that he's not used to. So I know what's going to happen. Maybe the next time, instead of knock him out, I will submit him. So maybe I'm going to change that to have different type of clips.
Then made it plain that, in spite of Ilia's lofty rhetoric, he is genuinely avoiding this fight and would prefer to go up a weight class.
What's the situation at that
Well, I
point?
mean, like, to be honest, it's they want me to fight. They want me to fight for the belt. I think they're trying to figure that out. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've got a date that we want. You know, they know I want to fight. That's just, you know, if the UFC want it and you know, he's pushing for it and they can make that happen, all right, good on them. But if they can't make it happen, it's not waste time unless they're lock out fighting. You know, that's just sort of how it.
During a recent appearance on the Straight Talk podcast, Dana White stated unequivocally that scheduling the Volkanovski versus Topuria rematch is his top priority. He reaffirmed his position, stating that Dana is prepared to repay Vol by giving Volkanovski anything he desires, as Vol has always stood